Hello friends, looking at current affairs for 16th April, Sunday. The news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 20. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, hacked, how $171 million stolen from Union Bank was recovered. So this is a case of an incident which took place in July 2016. So this has come out in the open now. So this was a hack of $171 million. So this came from Union Bank. So this is the Union Bank here. The Union Bank of India official in the Treasury Department. He was looking through this SWIFT. What is SWIFT? Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. So this SWIFT payments which were done, he was going through that as such, checking the statements for the day, and he found that in the dollar account there was a startling discrepancy. $171 million were debited from the bank without the bank's authorization. So when this was discovered, he raised the red flag, and it was found that this money was debited and sent to at least 5 different locations, different countries. So from there, the initiation started, and the countries were given the details about this, and the transaction, the money was returned back. So one of the countries was also Taiwan, and with Taiwan, which is also called Chinese Taipei, you should know about Taiwan, the country, which is part of one China policy. So China believes Taiwan to be part of China only. So with Taiwan, though there is an independent government, so with Taiwan we don't have diplomatic relations too. So particularly here we had to send the court order and get the necessary banking reversal done as such, the transaction. So here also US officials helped in pushing the country. So this $171 million all came back to Union Bank of India. So this was through hacking. So this similar earlier hack which had come in news was about Bangladesh Central Bank losing $81 million. So this was much more than that too. So you can see this had happened in February 2016. So this was spearheaded by the chairman of Union Bank of India and India's first Chief Information Security Officer, Dr. Gulshan Rai. So all this money was brought back. So in 6 days it all came back. So how this hacking took place, it is said that the hacking had occurred by a malware which had been sent to the bank official, and it was mistakenly opened by him. The email was opened, and this enabled the robbery. So the malware then got installed and the robbery was possible. The SWIFT, as such, they say that on their central server there is no hacking, there is no such incident which is reported, but maybe on the local server there, the hacking must have taken place. So an FIR has now been registered. So we'll see the details coming to. So you should know about this major hacking incident. So these were the countries where the money went, and then it came back to India as well. The next is 3 new balsams add to Nilgiri's biodiversity colors. So the Nilgiris here, specifically in the Mukurthi National Park here, 3 new species of plants have been discovered. So they are of the Balsaminaceae family. So these balsams, you can see, they have been named. 3 of them have been named Impatiens Scottiana. The other one is Impatiens Thymusculni. So here names of course are not important, but what is important is that all these, the third one is Impatiens nilgiricus, all have been named after Toda deities. So Toda is a tribe. We have discussed Todas even when we were discussing PVTGs, particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So the Todas live in Nilgiris. So here in Mukurthi National Park, they have a crucial presence, and they are set to be playing an important role in maintaining this ecosystem here too. So it is with the help of them that these species were also discovered. So these species have been named after the deities, the gods which they worship. So this is the deity hill Khatri. After him, this species has been named to, balsam species. So you can see. So the second one is also a balsam. So you don't need to remember the name. UPSC does not ask such questions. You don't need to by heart the names. You should at least know this fact that the Todas, at least one fact is this, Todas in the Nilgiris, an essential fact you should know. And about this recent discovery too in the Nilgiris, which was, they were named after which tribe? Even such a question can be asked. So at least you should know they were named after the deities of Toda tribe. So this Todas, you can see, a small pastoral community who live in Nilgiris. So they traditionally trade dairy products. Then next is Mahanadi river water dispute back in focus. So interstate river water sharing has been in news. There are many rivers on which we have discussed. Now this is another river coming to the fore. This is Mahanadi water. So Mahanadi river, it flows through Chhattisgarh and then enters into Odisha. So this is a dispute between Odisha and Chhattisgarh, and the Odisha government is demanding that a tribunal should be set up on Mahanadi as well. So this it has been written to the Prime Minister earlier too. So now the thing is that Chhattisgarh government is constructing projects on the upstream of Mahanadi river. So when dams, hydroelectric projects, they are constructed on upstream, then the flow in the downstream region would be affected. So Odisha has this fear, and that is why it wants central intervention in this matter. Plus it has also moved Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court stay order on this Chhattisgarh's construction activity have also been sought. So that is why the Water Resource Minister, Ms. Uma Bharti, she says that the issue cannot be commented on because now the matter is with the Supreme Court. The next is Telangana Cabinet clears 12% quota for Muslims. So this is regarding the reservation for Muslims and scheduled tribes which have been increased. So Muslims were given already having a quota as such. They were enjoying 5% reservation in backward classes of the state. So this this percentage reservation was given, and now 7% has been added, so it becomes 12%. So now 5% has become 12%. Even for scheduled tribes, it was 6%. Now it has gone up to 10%. So this is in line with the percentage of population which is there. Muslim population in the Telangana is 12%. So that is why the government says 12% reservation has been provided. And another matter is regarding the scheduled tribes. So even scheduled tribes population is around 9.08%, but 10% has been given. So the matter here of reservation is also pending in the Supreme Court, because Supreme Court has also clearly stated in the Constitution too, there is no provision for reservation on the basis of religion. So that is why this issue is a complicated issue. So the Supreme Court is also looking into the matter, plus now the reservation has already been increased. So that is the news. The next is train derails near Rampur, 13 injured. So this is another train derailment incident. So 8 coaches of this Meerut-Lucknow Rajya Rani Express derailed in Uttar Pradesh. So here the Superintendent of Police is also saying that the sabotage angle cannot be ruled out because 3-foot long railway track was missing as well. So this is the claim being made. So sabotage means somebody purposely trying to cause such accidents, means these are not accidents but terrorist attacks. So we have been discussing regarding rail incidents and the NIA, National Investigation Agency, looking into the matter. So this is another incident coming forth now. The next is rupees 2000 crore push for women engineers. So this is about what we already saw yesterday. The heads of all science departments have come together and submitted a report to the Prime Minister asking for establishment of a science body called Spark. So this should directly report to the Prime Minister. So this is what we just discussed yesterday on 15th April. So here it is, you can see Spark, sustainable progress to application of research and knowledge. So this is envisaging that by 2030, we should have at least 10% of the top 100 leaders in scientific fields from India. And India should be among the top 3 countries in science and technology. So this is the aim, and the roadmap is laid down here. So this report is being spoken of now. So this report's title is Vigyan 2030, Science and Technology as the Pivot for Jobs, Opportunities and National Transformation. So this report has been submitted to the government now. So here, on the basis of the recommendation in this report, Vigyan Jyoti is an initiative which has been envisaged. So in this, 500 contractual faculty positions for 5 years in universities and research organizations would be established, and special scholarships will be given for schoolgirls. So this is a 2000 crore initiative. So this is based on the report, one initiative launched, that is Vigyan Jyoti. So this is presently a pilot program covering 1 lakh girls and women. So from school going children who would be getting scholarships to even those interested in research being given facilities. So this is being proposed. So in India, in enrollment of women in science and engineering, it is good. It's around 35% as such. But in terms of workforce in science and engineering, women are only 12% of the population. So this is what we are trying to increase. The next is Shia's plea to board on triple talaq. So triple talaq case is before the Supreme Court. We know that a constitutional bench has been established and looking into it, and All India Muslim Personal Board will also respond on it. So based on what is mentioned in the Quran Sharia, and as we have discussed earlier too, All India Muslim Personal Law Board has already stated that triple talaq is undesirable, but it is allowed. So now this is Shia community appealing to the All India Muslim Personal Law Board that they should understand the genesis of this and also understand that triple talaq is not part of Sharia because it was not prevalent in the days of Prophet. It was later that it was allowed in one case. So going with the times, the community is asking All India Muslim Personal Law Board to give its viewpoint against triple talaq basically. Then next is the lowdown on goods and services tax. So goods and services tax we already have discussed quite often and we know everything about it. Some facts just to be remembered. One thing is that petroleum products and alcohol are kept out of GST. So this question comes that what is covered or what not covered. So at least you should know. Petroleum products, alcohol are out. Second, GST Council, the rate slabs which they have decided. So one are zero rated products and the remaining four, you should know the percentage slabs, 5, 12, 18 and 28%. In addition to 28% slabs, some commodities also have an additional cess on them. So this is for compensating for the 5 years to the states which the center has assured. So this is the cess. So this is on sin goods such as luxury cars and tobacco. So that you should remember. So it says here, besides improving tax compliance from traders, as we have discussed this aspect too, that how tax compliance will increase from traders because it's a value-added tax. So it's the entire chain. So everything should tally. If any one stage in between, if somebody tries to do something, that will be caught. There's a GST network, complete IT infrastructure where all the inputs would be put in and the taxation would be collected, refunds would be given to it as such. So this tax compliance will come from traders and it will boost economic growth by at least a 1 or 2 percentage points. This is because there will be single tax. There will be no different discrepancies as such. Single tax all over the country. There will be no different taxes at state level too. So it will bring taxation. This complex taxation structure of India will be quite simplified. So that is also the advantage. The next is Indians use origami to get closer look at beauty. So this is regarding the Japan's Bell 2 experiment. So this again a fact which you should know, Bell 2 experiment is from Japan and it is same as what even the CERN Large Hadron Collider experiment, what it is trying to do is what this Bell 2 experiment is also trying to do in Japan. So they say that both are complementary in nature and Indian scientists are contributing at CERN also and they are associated with Bell experiment too. So for long they have been associated. So this is the Bell 2 experiment. What they will do is a highly intense electron-positron beam will be made to collide and a huge number of B mesons which will be produced, they would be studied. So this is a study to find discrepancies if there are any in the standard model of particle physics. So there are still many unexplained ideas. So they are trying to understand them. So this standard model of particle physics we have discussed in detail in one video. You can go ahead and look at it. So you should know about these particles if a question comes. So that is regarding what is important here. The next is 3D printed patch to fix heart. So this is 3D bioprinted patch which has been created. So 3D printer, this also we have discussed earlier. I'll give the links to these videos in which these things have been discussed at the end of this video. So you can go ahead and click and watch those too. So this 3D printer has been used, which will use. So 3D printers generally have a source material. So that source material using CAD, computer aided design, how the design is to be. So this model is developed. So that means slices as such of this are developed and then all joined together it becomes a 3D model. So the source material which is used, like in general printers you use the paper and it's a 2D image. So here you use a source material. The source material used in this case was stem cells derived from adult human heart cells. So these stem cells have been used and 3D bioprinting has been done and a patch has been created. So this can help heal the scarred heart tissues after a heart attack. So this matrix which has been stem cells developed, they began to grow and beat synchronously. So this is a new development here, SNT, how information technology, actually printing, can be used for health as such. So this is the news. The next is IISc makes two potent molecules to fight TB. This is also not something new. This about IISc discovery we have already discussed earlier. So this was regarding the biofilm, if you can recollect. I'll discuss it once again too. So these bacteria, so antibiotic resistance which is developed to bacteria as they do not respond to antibiotics. This happens because of the resistance that they develop. So generally the antibiotics what they try to target is the bacterial metabolism. So they aim to target the cellular components and destroy the bacteria. But what these IISc scientists have done is they are not targeting the metabolism, but they are targeting the bacteria's stress response system. So this is what they are trying to target. So in stress, this is called the stress response pathway. So in stress, what these bacteria do is they develop a biofilm. So this biofilm protects the bacteria from stress and induce a tolerance to antibiotics. So if this stress response pathway is interfered with and is not allowed to develop, the biofilm will not develop and the bacteria will become vulnerable to already known antibiotics. Then you don't need to develop new antibiotics. So these IISc scientists have developed these two molecules. So these two new molecules synthesized, they have found that they are very good inhibitors of stress response. So they don't allow stress response to come forth and this biofilm to be generated, and then the bacteria can easily be eliminated. So this will help in attacking or tackling all kinds of bacterial diseases, including Mycobacterium tuberculosis that causes TB. So this is the new development. Also, they say these molecules are not toxic to human cells. The next is, what is terpene? So next is, so terpene are these compounds that are responsible for the essential oils of plants and resins of trees. So this is the scent of the pine forest or basil leaf. So these contain terpenes. So these terpene compounds are secreted not just by plants but also fungi. So these compounds as such, it has been seen that bacteria and other microorganisms also make terpenes. So these terpenes, it has been demonstrated for the first time that two different types of microorganisms, bacteria and fungi, they use terpenes to hold conversations. So this is the language of terpenes. So this is a vast chemical communication network which has been demonstrated now. So this is the news. The researchers from Netherlands had demonstrated this. This is regarding terpenes. The next is Arctic, now more like the Atlantic. So part of the Arctic Ocean is now beginning to resemble like Atlantic Ocean. So Arctic Ocean is supposed to be at the pole, North Pole. So this is to be the polar region. So climate change has actually altered the environment here. Water is getting warmer, the ice sheets are getting thinner, and summers have become virtually ice-free now in this region. So that is called Atlantification of the Arctic. So this is a term coming forth now. So you should know this. The next is Supreme Court for equal pay to paramilitary officers. So this is regarding the Supreme Court asking the center to consider plea which has come before it. So this is Association of Central Police Forces. So these include personal forces like BSF, Border Security Force, CRPF, Central Reserve Police Force, CISF, Central Industrial Security Force, ITBP, Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force, even Railway Protection Force, RPF, Sashastra Seema Bal, SSB, have all been taken as aggrieved parties here. So they have been given this categorization of organized Group A services. So when this organized Group A services is being provided, so they are having for duties similar to that of Group A services, then they should get equal pay too. So equal pay for equal work is what they are demanding. So this has come forth before the Supreme Court and it has asked the center to look into the matter too. So that is regarding this. The next is Canberra keen on joining naval games. So this is regarding Malabar exercise. So this Malabar exercise is the naval exercise originally bilaterally held between India and USA. So this began in 1992, right? Then in 2015, it has become trilateral with inclusion of Japan as well. So now it is a trilateral naval exercise among India, Japan and USA. So Australia wants to become part of this. So the 21st edition of Malabar exercise would be held presently. So that is where Australia is requesting to be a part. So USA and Japan are keen on including Australia as well, but India is hesitant. So India says it will not be possible because Australia had once joined this Malabar exercise in 2007 and it had raised a sharp response from China. So China does not want this trilateral to become quadrilateral, and now we don't want to antagonize China. That is why India has been reluctant to include Australia. But this is the proposal coming forth. This is the Malabar exercise. So then next news item is Turkey to vote today on constitutional changes. So Turkish voters will decide whether the constitutional reforms which have been put forth, that the powers of the president should be increased. So there will be a referendum on this. So whether the people vote for it or against it, we'll see. So President of Turkey, Mr. Erdogan, he wants to increase his powers now. So this is basically in response to the initiative which was taken to a coup attempt. So this was a coup attempt which actually failed. But the person who has been held responsible by Mr. Erdogan for this coup attempt is Mr. Fethullah Gulen. Coup, C-O-U-P. So coup means trying to bring the government down, especially through the military. So this Fethullah Gulen is actually a Muslim cleric who was actually a partner with Mr. Erdogan in government earlier, but then differences arose and he has gone and settled down in USA. So he is a Muslim cleric in self-imposed exile in Pennsylvania, in USA. So here the July coup attempt uprising in Turkey was said to be because of Fethullah Gulen. Even Turkey asked India to stop all organizations which are associated with him, the Gulen organizations as such. So this is the case. So Turkey, after that, he clamped down on all kinds of dissent. He has fired 130,000 people, around 45,000 people were arrested as such. So these steps were taken by him. Also Islamic State threat is also there in Turkey. Kurdish militants are also active. So that is the problem which Turkey is facing now, and they want to increase the powers of the president, and that is why this referendum has been held now. So of course the results would be in news as well. The next is Asian nations dodge manipulator tag but wary of US trade friction. So this is what we have already discussed earlier too regarding US trade. So they are studying the trade imbalances which they have. So deficit which USA has, majorly with China too, even with India. USA has a trade deficit, means India's exports are more. Exports coming from India, and US importing from India is more, exporting to India is less. So that is the deficit which USA has with India, and also China, which is a huge deficit. So China is also accused of being a manipulator of its currency. So Chinese currency is regulated by the government, it's state control. Whereas US currency is a free floating currency, completely floating currency, means market determined rate. So that is why China is very often been accused of manipulating their currency, and that is also said to be a reason why USA is having huge trade deficit. But we have also seen that US President Donald Trump has changed his stance on China too, that if China intervenes in case of North Korea, then they are ready to overlook this issue of trade deficit too. So this is the case. Even other countries like South Korea and Taiwan are also said to be having currency intervention done, because of which USA faces a deficit. So Japan, China, South Korea and Taiwan, they remain in the list of special monitoring of currency practices under US Treasury report, though they have not specifically been labeled as manipulators. So that is the news. The next is Center to promote use of technical textiles. So these technical textiles, also called functional textiles. So these are a sunrise sector, means an emerging sector in the country. So what do they mean? They basically mean, technical textiles mean that they are manufactured for non-aesthetic purposes, not for the touch, look, feel and design as such, but for functional purposes. So function is the basic purpose. So these technical textiles are used in automobile sector, automotive sector. Then in medical, textiles are used as implants. Geotextiles are used for reinforcement of embankments as such, so geographically. So these are there. Agro-textiles are there for crop protection. Also protective clothing which is there against heat, radiation, for firefighters, etc. So these bulletproof vests, space suits, all these are called technical textiles. So this is a sunrise sector, and this is being now the center plans to promote use of this as such. So you can see geotextiles like permeable fabrics, so through which water can pass through as such. So this is there. Then agro textiles which are used in shading, in weed and insect control, etc. So these are the kind of textiles. The main challenges which are there for technical textiles in India is that there's less awareness amongst customers. Then next is the need for technology and knowledge about it among the entrepreneurs, investment and time needed to be innovative and develop applications of this. And of course, another one is the raw material availability. So center will look into this and promote this sector. So what are technical textiles? You should know. So this is regarding that. These are various diverse fields in which they can be used. So this is there. So you can see common products of technical textiles are mentioned here. Bulletproof jackets, car body covers, all these are there. So then the next news item is regulatory bodies. IRDA asks insurers to upload point of sale persons data. So Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority, the regulatory body for insurance sector, it has issued a circular that the point of sales persons, which are the POS persons who are engaged with the Insurance Information Bureau of India, they should ensure that the representatives deal only with their products. So why do they want the data of these point of sale persons? Because it may be possible that they are having other insurers and insurance intermediaries also being engaged by them. So this ensuring that the applicant is not engaged as POS with any other insurer. For this purpose, this data has been asked to be uploaded. So this is regarding that. So IRDAI has mandated that insurance companies have to impart in-house training of 15 hours and conduct an examination on clearing which the candidate can be appointed as a POS person, point of sale person. So this is regarding that. And the last news item again on hacking. This is hackers release files indicating NSA monitored global bank transfers. So this is US NSA, National Security Agency. So the hackers have released these documents and files in which it is indicated that US has access to SWIFT interbank messaging system. So this SWIFT system, which we just saw also, this is headquartered in Belgium, in Europe. So this is SWIFT, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. So this SWIFT system basically provides reliable, fast telecommunication facilities for exchange of financial messages all over the world between the banks and financial institutions. So this is a not-for-profit cooperative society which has been established in 1973, headquartered in Belgium, and it has around 239 banks across 15 countries which are part of it. So this is there. So 88 Indian banks are also member of this SWIFT. India became a member since 1991. It is a member. So this is the SWIFT system. So what these hackers have released is that the messaging system which is used for this is being accessed by US NSA. So it can monitor money flow among the countries here, among the banks here. So that is what comes forth through these hackers' data released. Also, they have released computer code that can be adapted by criminals to break into SWIFT servers and monitor messaging services. So they have shown how it can be done too. So that code has also been released there. Some of them, they say it is still functioning. So this is showing the lacuna and how cybersecurity is not strong globally too. So some of the records, they say they bear NSA. So this has not been confirmed. Even they have published in this report many programs that can be used to attack various versions of Windows operating system. So this also they say that NSA knew for months about this hackers group. This is called shadow brokers as such. So this hackers group breach was known to NSA, but Microsoft says that they had not been warned of any such breach by the US government. So this is the status presently. So as we saw presently too in the first news article too, that $81 million from Bangladesh Central Bank were hacking resulted in this loss. Even in India, Union Bank case has come forth now. So this is showing that SWIFT messaging system has some problem, but then SWIFT says that we regularly release security updates, and they say there is no evidence of the main SWIFT network ever being accessed without authorization. So they say local messaging systems of some SWIFT clients, banks as such may have been breached. So this is the statement coming from this SWIFT as such. So this is it. So that is it. Thank you.